Hong Kong police have raided the office of an online news outlet, Star News, after arresting 6 people for conspiracy to publish a seditious publication. According to the police, more than 200 officers have taken part in the search operations. They also say that they had a warrant to seize relevant journalistic materials under a national security law enacted last year. According to the local South China Morning Post newspaper, police have arrested 1 current and 1 former editor at Star News, as well as 4 former board members, including singer and activist Denise Ho. According to the reports, local media, a major meeting of the ruling Workers' Party is underway in North Korea, with leader Kim Jong-un setting policy for 2022 and highlighting rural development. The Korean Central News Agency did not provide details of Kim Jong-un's policy priorities. Since 2012, North Korea has been experimenting with freedom for farmers to try to stimulate production. The early adjustments to control of farming were formally put into place in 2016, allowing farmers to keep more of what they grow. It's not yet clear if this party meeting's discussion of rural development includes any further improvement for North Koreans in the countryside. Former U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has passed away at the age of 82. Reid had earned a reputation as a fierce partisan fighter during an era of political gridlock in Washington. Reid, a former amateur boxer, represented Nevada in the U.S. Congress as a Democrat for more than 3 decades in both the Senate and House of Representatives. The cause of death was not yet announced. Reid had undergone surgery for pancreatic cancer in May 2018. As Majority Leader, Reid served as Democratic President Barack Obama's point man in the Senate. In spite of furious Republican opposition, Reid in 2010 helped secure congressional passage of Obama's signature health care law known as Obamacare. According to the authorities, a gunman who went on a shooting rampage through several business districts in and around Denver, killing 5 people and wounding 2 others, was targeting at least some of his victims. The suspect has also died after exchanging gunfire with officers in a shopping area in the Denver suburb of Lakewood. Police have identified him as Lyndon James McLeod. Those wounded included a police officer who confronted McLeod. The Cathedral of St. Mary in Johannesburg has hosted a prayer service in honor of the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. The service has been attended by newly elected mayor of the city, Mpho Phalatse, along with a handful of others who lit the candle to begin the service. In addition to the service in Johannesburg, tributes were also held in Cape Town, which lit its city hall, the Arch at the Company Gardens, part of St. George's Cathedral, and Table Mountain in purple lights. Tutu died at the age of 90 years at the Oasis Frail Center in Cape Town. Let's talk about the pandemic now. And Thai health authorities have warned that residents should brace themselves for a potential jump in coronavirus cases after classifying the country's first cluster of the Omicron variant as a super spreader incident. The Omicron cluster, identified in the northeastern province of Kalasin on Christmas Eve, has been linked to a couple who had traveled from Belgium and visited bars, concerts and markets. According to senior health officials, the ensuing cluster has infected hundreds, with cases spreading to 11 other provinces. Thailand has reported 740 cases of the highly transmissible Omicron variant so far. Broadway's revival of The Music Man, the hottest ticket in town, has cancelled performances for 5 days after star Hugh Jackman tested positive for COVID-19. The latest New York City show to fall victim to the surging coronavirus, Jackman said on Twitter that he has only mild symptoms, including a scratchy throat and runny nose, and that as soon as he was cleared, he will be back on stage. Producers announced that all performances of the musical will be cancelled through January 1st. Jackman tested positive after his co-star, Sutton Foster, came down with the coronavirus last week and was replaced by an understudy. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has focused on recovery and unity in his New Year's message on Tuesday. Speaking in a pre-recorded message from New York, Guterres has said that humanity is facing deepening poverty, worsening inequality, and an unequal distribution of COVID vaccines. But he said the issues are tests that humanity can pass. He has urged world nations to commit to making 2022 a year of recovery for everyone, referencing recovery from the pandemic, economies and mistrust and division, with a new emphasis on science, facts and reason.
I congratulate.
According to officials, New York City will stop quarantining entire classrooms exposed to the coronavirus and will instead prioritize a ramped-up testing program so that asymptomatic students testing negative for COVID-19 can remain in school. A day earlier, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shortened the recommended isolation time for Americans with asymptomatic cases of COVID-19 to 5 days from the previous guidance of 10 days. President Joe Biden has pledged to ease a shortage of COVID-19 tests with the Omicron variant. The Omicron variant was estimated to be 58.6% of the coronavirus variants circulating in the United States as of December 25th. A few dozen people lined up to shred things they want to forget about 2021, including but not limited to the deadly global pandemic that is still haunting the world at the annual Good Riddance Day event in New York City's Times Square. Participants are encouraged to write down the year's unpleasant memories to be thrown into an incinerator. Among the submissions were COVID-19 and some of the grimmer attendant consequences, including those relating to mental health problems or struggles. The Times Square Alliance, which promotes local businesses, has organized the event since 2007, near where the ball drops on New Year's Eve in the closing moments of December 31st. Chilean Agriculture Minister Maria Emilia Anduraga has declared an agricultural emergency due to 20 forest fires still active in the country. Authorities reported that several regions face a water deficit due to a lack of rainfall, favoring the rapid spread of forest fires. Several regions are under different types of alert due to the possibility of disasters, while others are at maximum alert levels. In Quilon, 2,100 hectares and 5 houses were consumed, and in another area, the flames devastated another 12,000 hectares of forest and destroyed small farmers' crops in their path. Chile has recorded 49 forest fires so far this year. Heavy snow has continued to fall in the Lake Tahoe area of California, breaking a record of 179 inches set in 1970. Snowplows lumbered through Placer County, throwing mounds of snow to the side. According to officials, the University of California, Berkeley's Central Sierra, the new December snowfall record in the area is now 193.7 inches. A winter storm warning was issued for the north-central part of the state as meteorologists continue to call for moderate to heavy snow showers overnight. Heavy snow has continued to hit areas on the Sea of Japan coast, causing flight cancellations and delays to train services. The famous ski resort town, Miyako in Niigata, has recorded a snowfall of 45 inches, 2 times higher than the amount usually recorded there in the winter season. A total of 116 cities in the northeastern Brazilian state of Bahia are in a state of emergency because of flooding due to heavy rains that have been pounding the region. Cities in at least 5 other states in Brazil's north and southeast have also been flooded in recent days. In Bahia, flooding has affected more than 470,000 people. In at least 50 cities, water surged into homes and businesses, and people were forced to abandon their belongings. Official data from the state government say that over 34,000 people have been made homeless and almost 43,000 are displaced. There have been a total of 21 deaths and 358 people have been injured since the beginning of the month. Let's talk business now. Apple has said that it has placed its iPhone assembler FOXCONN's plant in southern India on probation after both companies found that some remote dormitories and dining rooms used for employees did not meet required standards. Apple will assess the situation and the living conditions at the plant before going for reopening. The FOXCONN plant had been due to resume some operations after it was closed last week. And now it looks like reopening has been delayed for an indefinite period until the time Apple decides to open it. In signs of growing trouble for Google's Indian origin CEO Sundar Pichai, a US court has ruled that plaintiffs who accused Alphabet's Google of unlawfully tracking their internet use while on incognito browsing mode can question Chief Executive Sundar Pichai for up to 2 hours. The lawsuit, filed in June 2020, users accused Google of illegally invading their privacy by tracking internet use while Google Chrome browsers were set in private mode. The plaintiffs are arguing that Pichai has unique personal knowledge of issues relating to the Chrome browser and privacy concerns. US President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden on Tuesday evening walked their new puppy Commander near Gordon's Pond in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden said we'll see when asked whether he would meet Russian President Vladimir Putin on January 10th, the same day US and Russian officials are due to hold security talks. The talks, announced by the two countries, are to discuss concerns about rising tensions over Ukraine. The White House did not respond to a request for a comment on whether Biden had been referring to the lower-level security talks in his comment about meeting Putin. Global waste generation is expected to increase by 70% by the year 2050, and that's according to the World Bank. But of the 2 billion tons of annual waste, only 19% is recovered. In Finland, new, quick-thinking AI technology is helping to boost recycling rates. On the outskirts of Finnish capital Helsinki, New technology is making recycling easier. This recently opened €35 million plant owned by Finnish firm Remeo can process up to 120,000 tons of construction waste, including wood, plastics and metals. It's claimed to be the most advanced recycling plant in Europe. "2021 was a bumper year when it came to space exploration, with Mars landings and billionaire blast-offs by the likes of Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson. And according to reports, 2022 shows no sign of letting up, including another Red Planet mission and more space tourists packing their bags. Last month, NASA delayed putting astronauts back on the moon until the year 2025 at the earliest. But the US Space Agency is still targeting the first part of 2022 for the first test flight of its moon rocket, the Space Launch System, or SLS, with an Orion capsule. No one will be on board. Several countries are planning to send rovers and landers to the moon, including Japan and the UAE. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.